Is this something that would have been different if you were a punk rock musician? Or if you were a jazz musician, would the reaction have been different? I mean, I know we're very quick to characterize, I've done it already once today, characterize the country music genre as conservative, small c conservative.
Yeah.
Is that a fair characterization in your experience over these years?
It is. It is my experience that we have a conservative fan base. We operate our business out of a largely conservative town, although there are pockets of progressive, forward, very liberal people in Nashville.
Right.
You know, traditionally, there's a reason no one's ever come out in country music,
right.
And
do you know of other people in country music who you think, but for the bravery that you've exhibited, might come out? Is this more of a? I hesitate to ask it because it sounds like I'm trolling for gossip, but I really want to understand. Do you feel like you are an island in this world?
Well, I do very much feel like an island.
Yeah.
You know, for obvious reasons. I'm the only one standing up here.
Right.
Sitting, I guess.
Sitting
we should
now,
say.
but
And I don't feel that you're trolling because I know the intention of your question. I will answer it. I don't want to be coy, but what I want to say is, I've been asked that so many times, and I'm so scared to say one way or the other, because if I do say perhaps I'm not alone, then it will invite perhaps some hubbub and speculation, and for anyone to be speculated about their sexuality in country music, it could be career ending. Mm-hmm. So I don't want to invite undue or founded or unfounded speculation on anyone. I will say this.
Yeah.
One has to imagine that basic statistics apply, and
the population is the population.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
And what are they saying? 1 in 10 people are gay, which I think it's way more than that. But I would imagine, if again, that someone else in country music historically, or perhaps current day, or maybe some kid trying to get a record deal on Music Row right now, is going, thank God I don't have to be the first.
Right. Well, let's transition away from that aspect of the story to the point of it all, and the degree to which you are a role model. You have made a lot of effort in the direction of giving young people, particularly, the courage to be who they are. And on the positive side, and on the negative side, you've tried to combat much of the horrible treatment of young people we've seen over the last year. The Fort Worth City Councilman Joel Burns is the most famous emblem of this, but there's an entire movement that's sprung up around the idea that we need to empower young people to be who they are. I want to hear you talk about that.
Yeah, I moved to New York City in 2008. I didn't come out until 2010.
Right.
So I moved to New York to finish my book, and to get really quiet, and to get really contemplative, and fortify myself spiritually, emotionally, physically, for what I was about to do. I knew I had an idea of what this was going to be. But I also embedded myself in New York with the executive director of GLSEN, the Gay and Lesbian Straight Education Network, which does a tremendous amount of work for young people, LGBT and straight allies in public schools. GLAAD, the HRC, Faith in America, these are all organizations with whom I align myself. And it was a very, this is one of the things that when I'm indicted with what you mentioned earlier, people saying, oh, she just did this to sell books. She just did this for attention, to revive a failing career. The thing that no one sees, the thing that I'm not often asked about, is that I uprooted myself from a really comfortable life in Nashville to go do the work. And in doing that work, I was incredibly empowered by stats and figures and personal stories and a whole community of people who made me know that this was the right thing. I knew it was the right thing, but I had now this new community of people telling me, galvanizing my resolve that kids need me. Kids need Joel. Kids need straight allies. We have got to do a better job for our young people. And my reason for coming out, my reason in 2007 when I got on my knees and prayed to God, show me the way. My reason was to better my life. But the close second was because I want
well,
to
you
do
knew it would
something.
have an impact on other people's lives.
I knew, and
Right.
you know, I was talking to my dad on the phone today about the point at which we all do our best. And I knew I wasn't doing my best. You look at the contributions of, say, Oprah Winfrey. Of course, she had me on her show. That's not why I'm a fan, but I'm a fan of people who do the best with what they have, to whom much is given, much is required. I knew in my balance sheet, in my heart and in my mind, I was not doing all that I could be doing. So it just got to a point where I had to assess, what kind of person am I?
Yeah. What do you think about, again, remove yourself from the equation. This is 2011. You know, we've made extraordinary advances in how we view people. Yeah. The new generation, the generation coming up behind us, is much more comfortable with diversity in all ways. And, and yet we still have gay kids being beaten up in schools. We still have horrific news stories about the ways in which people are treated just because they are who they are. Yeah. It's almost as if it runs counter to the notion of the modern world, that, you know, the forces of the modern world are being thwarted by these people who are acting in a way that seems
it's barbaric.
It's barbaric, and I don't understand why more people aren't outraged about it. And you've spent a lot of time thinking about this. Can you explain this in any way?
Well, I can't. I would be not human if I could explain it. I guess it. You know, one of the symptoms of being human is that fear eclipses hope, I think, and I suffer from it as well. I suffer the malady of being human. But I'm personally outraged. And, you know, I'm guessing that most people in the room today are outraged at the inequities in society toward not just LGBT people, but everybody. I mean, we're walking around mistreating one another.
But the issue is, you don't have to be gay yourself, or even, as you describe, straight people as straight allies.
Yeah.
It's just simply, it's abuse. It really borders on abuse and mistreatment of people who did nothing to deserve it. And yet we as a society seem to be on such moral high ground that we just accept it as, oh, well, this is just how it is.
Well, it's, I'm going to bring it up again. I am a Christian, but many of our churches are fueling this fire. And they are, you know, we as a Christian world, a Christian nation, you know, by and large, we somehow abandon all good thinking and walk like a bunch of zombies when we're told by somebody behind a pulpit what to do, think, say, or feel.
Right.
And it's beyond me. Like, I've never walked a day in my life without the belief of God. In fact, I believe that the reason I'm here today and didn't pull the trigger in 2006 is because of God and God's mercy and love.
And those things aren't incompatible as far as you're concerned.
They're not. Yeah. They're not. And I just don't, I can't explain it to you, Evan. I don't know. It breaks my heart. But I can tell you, in all that we've seen in the past year with suicides and beatings of young gay people and older gay people as well, those of us in the LGBT community know that this is not new. The thing that
what's new is that the rest of us are hearing about it.
That's it.
Yeah.
And it's especially, it's just, the thing that I was paying attention to as this was rising up in the fall, rest assured that when all of these It Gets Better videos are being made, middle America and people, a lot of people took a collective breath of like, okay, good. America's on it. We don't have to worry about it. Let's go back to whatever we were thinking about. But rest assured, with all of those positive reinforcements that young people were seeing, the negative rhetoric was being raised. You have to believe me that in schools where kids they're clicking on the internet at home and looking at these It Gets Betters, believe me, the haters were hating louder as well.
Yeah, so the effect is to both embolden the people who are opposed to treating everybody fairly, alongside giving people who want to be treated fairly more hope.
Yeah.